Good morning. I'm just waiting to see if the video scrambles at the beginning, which it seems to do lately, but maybe it doesn't when I don't speak. So welcome. My name's Leanne Peters. I'm from Temple of Balance, and I'm here to pull some cards for the next 3 days. So I trust this video finds you well and that you are in pretty good flow at this time. So I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Thursday the 30th of May, and the time is 8:28 a.m. So welcome. I also want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'm going to be doing is using my Oracle cards. These are my Oracle cards that I created. I've got 2 decks that are joined together. So we have the Speed of Light Oracle in black, and we have the Animal Kingdom Oracle card with the ladybug. And there's 55 cards in each deck, so I have 110 cards here in my hand, which is lots of fun to play with. So I'll be using this deck to find the best card that the majority of us need for Thursday, then Friday, then Saturday. I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust that you've been led here for a reason, and what that reason is, I trust reveals itself to you. It's your business. It's up to you to find that out. I'm here trusting my intuition, delivering and interpreting this energy as best as I can, and it's up to you to trust your intuition to take on board the parts that resonate and fit into your life. So take on board what does feel right and what does resonate and fit into your life easily, and let the rest go. I'd also be noticing the things that trigger. So if you're triggered by anything and you reject anything immediately, then if I do that, that's a red flag for me. I need to look further into that too. So it's not just the things that resonate, it's also the things that you have a reaction to on some level. I'd be paying attention to those things, and let's see what happens. So let's get started. So I'm looking for the best card that the majority of us need for Thursday, the 30th of May. So the best card for the majority of us for Thursday is this. Hi, Rhonda. It's this card, Animal Kingdom. We have a featured timing card. It's Stellar Cycle. It has further instructions here which say to take the 4th card from the top of the deck. So I'm going down to number 4, which is a Speed of Light Oracle, and we have Gaia. So let's look at these 2 cards. I've come up together for a reason for Thursday. So we're going to look at them separately, and then we'll look at their relationship together. Hi, Barb. Welcome. So card 55, Stellar Cycle. This is a featured timing card. So it talks about a 1-year cycle. If it is your birthday today, or in the last few days, or in the next few days, then this is especially important for you, being you starting a new whole year of your cycle. And for those of us who aren't having a birthday right now, this is talk, or for all of us actually, but including those who are or aren't having a birthday, we're looking at the long term. So we're looking at the next year approximately. So it could be the next few years, it could be the next 9 to 12 months. But there is an energy around on Thursday that's having us perhaps consider a year ahead, consider what's happening now and where we want to be in the next year. So where do we want to be at the end of May 2025? And what steps do we perhaps need to consider to get to that point in approximately the end of May 2025? Have we got something that we're planning for around that time period as well? What are we doing? What are we looking at? What are we planning for the long term? For the long-term stability and perhaps even success or abundance of our life? How are we trying to get things on track in the long term rather than being reactionary to things that just happen on a more regular basis. So do we need to create some plans? Now, coming up with this card is Gaia, card 33, and it says spring, nature, message, listen, and life. Now, this card on its own is reminding us that life calls to us. Life calls us now out of our hidey hole, out of our hiding place, out of our perhaps depressed or down space as well, that there's nature calling us, calling life out of us. And because this has come up with the Stellar Cycle card, this is probably, for some of us, is probably about, what's the best word to start here? I can feel it. What's calling us out of our hiding place? What's calling us into life that we are being guided to consider for the next year or for the long-term period? Have we been going downhill for a period of time? Are we happy with that? If we're not, what can we do to change things now? How can we reconnect back with nature, reconnect back with the calling and the pull and the message and the spice of life to wake us up and help us move out of that dark downward place that we've perhaps moved into and take steps to move up and out of that? This card here also highlights springtime, so it highlights new beginnings and spring being in the air. Spring in the air is life. So it's very much highlighted around life in the air. Life is short. Life is precious. We know all these things. So do we keep just going downhill and spiraling out of control and just feeling disconnected from life? Or can we take steps to rebuild our connection with life again, to feel that surge of springtime within us if we can, and look at how that can help turn things around from going that way, turning it around and moving that way. So moving back out into life. And this is not something that happens overnight, because this card is showing us the stellar cycle is that this is the long haul. This is the long distance. This is the long term. This is going further out into our future, especially around that year period. So it takes time to turn things around and then get back into this other direction, lifting out. Now, if we don't make an effort to do that as best as we can, then the only direction we're going is further down. So this is an opportunity on Thursday for us to really consider turning things around and going in the other direction. If the projection of where we're going is not where we want to be in a year, do you want to be in the same place that you're in now, or worse if you're going downhill in another year's time? And if you don't want to be in that space, what can you do today or in the next few days to turn things around and get back on track? So a part of the key with that would be, probably from this card, is that there's a key in nature. There's a key or an incentive, a catalyst in our approach and our perspective to life itself. Do we feel the calling of life? Do we feel grateful for life? Are we taking our life for granted? Are we taking our good health for granted? Because we probably do until we experience not so good health, and then we wish our good health back. So if we're in good health, why not be grateful for that? And perhaps use something like gratitude to help turn things around. Start looking at the glass half full rather than the glass half empty. Noticing our strengths and the gifts and the things that we do, the parts of our character that we're reasonably skilled at, and use those strengths too to help turn things around for us. So it does feel like a potential turning point, and it's about, I think, our projection. Where do we want to be in a year? Do we want to be in the same place we're in now or worse? Do we want to be in the same place we're in now or better? And it almost feels like a choice for us to choose life. Or I guess the opposite is to choose like a death, is to choose that dark and depressive space. And even if we don't consciously want it, unconsciously want it, perhaps we're choosing that without really realising it. We're choosing it by keeping the same patterns and habits going. So if the habits and patterns that we've gotten into with our thinking and our attitude and our behaviour keeps us feeling down and depressed, then maybe we need to change our thoughts and attitude and behaviour so that we can perhaps look at things from a more grateful perspective and see what happens with that. So they're our cards for Thursday. And I'm getting drawn back to that because I had that massive fungi mushroom experience in the rainforest a week or two ago. Two of the key words for fungi are death and decay. And these two cards actually remind me a bit of the message from the fungi, with the highlighting the death and decay, but the rebirth and renewal that can come out of that. So it doesn't stay in that death and decay space. It's actually the mushroom comes up and rises up out of the death and decay of things. So I think to me that feels like hopeful, a sense of renewal, of life springing up from that feels like it's dying and decaying within us or within our life. How can we turn it around? How can we make the most of this situation? How can we turn this challenge into an opportunity and turn things around for ourselves? So that's what I'm feeling anyway for Thursday. Let's now look for the best card for Friday, the 31st of May, so the last day of the month. And the best card for the majority of us is this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card, and it is Focus, card 38. It says holding position, timing and growth. This is holding position. So now this is talking more about our past. I don't know if you can see this path here. This is a path that represents our past that led us to this moment. So the last cards we were talking about were more about the path going towards our future, especially for around the next year. This is highlighting our path that's led us up to this moment in our life. And we hopefully know why we made certain decisions and why we chose this instead of that, why we went here instead of there. Hopefully we know the ins and outs more intricately and intimately than any other person about our past and our life from the past, what's led us to this moment, all the difficulties, all the triumphs, all the tests, all the challenges that have led us to this point. So this is us now standing on this rock, in this position, in our current position, in the here and now. This is a period of growth, it's showing, from our current position. And there's a sense of owning and taking responsibility for our past and being careful at the moment, especially on Friday, of naysayers or other people thinking they know what's best for us, or even casting their opinion. And I have a little chuckle because lately I've just had this swarm of people giving me their artistic ideas. And I'm like, okay, well, if these are your ideas, why don't you go and try and create them? Because I've got a list of ideas that could run me a couple of lifetimes. And what inspires me as far as ideas is not necessarily, most likely, completely different to what inspires other people. So I don't need other people's ideas and what they want me to do lumped onto me. I have to just let that go like water off a duck's back, because I know who I am and I know what I want to create and I know what my ideas are. So I'm going to run with that because that comes from me. So other people projecting their ideas, it's like that comes from them. How can you manifest your ideas if they're important to you? They're not important to me, so I don't need them. So, this sort of energy of people projecting their stuff, even their opinions about our life onto us. So let's be really sure about who we are, especially on Friday, sure about what's led us to here, why we've got to this point in our life. Hopefully we know. No one else is going to know better than us. So if we don't know, maybe it's a good time too to reflect back on our past and on our journey and get to know ourselves a little more, perhaps based on why did I make that decision at that time, and if if I could go back to that situation, would I make the same decision now, knowing what I know and with hindsight? And just not judging or wallowing in the past, but just from almost like a third person perspective, so that we can get a better idea of our past and what's led us to this moment. So in this moment, we're being encouraged to stand tall and confident and clear within ourselves, that we might have a strong opinion about something and we might have all good reason for that. So let's trust in that position that we hold now. There is also that energy of focus. So focusing on what's important to us, and this is a period of growth as we hold in this position now. So hold our position probably means hold in our stance, hold in our attitude, if it's working for us and it's healthy for us, and working out what is healthy and what is supportive and what isn't, and letting the stuff go that doesn't support us, that we've been holding on to, including our own attitude, our own stubbornness, our own opinion of things, and stripping those things back that don't resonate or align with our truth. So now I'm looking for the best card for Saturday, the 1st of June. I love this transitional period. I do like to try and do the new month in a new video, but I'm busy on Saturday. I won't have time to do a video then. So we're just lumping them together. So we're new month, fresh new energy. Saturday the 1st of June. The best card for the majority of us is this. It's another Speed of Light Oracle. And we have Rosemary, card 20. And she says, beauty, self-love, kindness, and balance. So because she's looking down, so when I drew this picture, it might look like her eyes are closed, but I know that I tried to draw her with her eyes sort of downcast, you know, just looking down, which from certain angles can look like they're closed. But she's looking down. She's looking down at her hearts here, where she's got a rose on here. There's also a highlight here on her crown chakra. So crown chakra is about reconnecting. So reconnecting with our heart, reconnecting and even nurturing ourselves is probably on the cards for Saturday. You know, a reconnection. How can we tend to the needs that we have? How can we support ourselves better? And you know, just making sure that our self-love hasn't tipped into being self-obsessed, because that's quite the problem I see in many people around me at this time, is you know, the ego really latches onto this self-love and just becomes obsessed with self-love. And then to me, it's not self-love any longer, it's a self-obsession. So we can tip into self-obsession and being self-centered quite egotistically very easily with this self-love thing. So for me, I imagine like reaching my pinnacle, let's say, of self-love before it tips off into the unhealthy range. It's a bit like a mountain to me, and so I try and get as high and as healthy as I can on the self-love front, which is right to that pinnacle, and then I want to balance on there without tipping over the other side. So I find it quite fun in some ways to play with that energy, where I can get the maximum out of that self-love and how that looks and feels for me, because it's going to be different for us all. So self-love, important for Saturday. Some of us may feel a bit slower moving. We might want to do something to nourish and nurture ourselves. We might be also looking at our balance in our body, balance in our life, balance in our relationships. So that's that for Saturday. So thank you so much. I'm going to pull a theme card in just a moment. Before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. So I trust you've enjoyed this video. And if you have enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you'd prefer to connect more privately, then please send us a message through our website. So I have my next online classes coming up in June, the 13th and the 14th of June, my card reading club and my online art class. keep an eye out for those, or have a look on my website if you want to book or learn more. Also, I am just doing a last call out for any ideas or suggestions that I will consider. I won't necessarily follow, but I will certainly consider if they feel right. If you're thinking about coming to my Temple of Balance's 20th birthday events, I'm going to be doing a bunch of events for the whole month of February 2025 when Temple of Balance turns 20. And it's going to be happening here in Tasmania in person. So there's going to be all sorts of things. I've just shared on my Facebook page, Temple of Balance, my current draft plan for that month of February. So now's your chance to let me know if you're coming. I know there's a few people want to come from outside of Australia. If there's something specific that you're really interested in coming for, just let me know. I mean, the worst thing I can say is, oh, no, that's not going to work. But it might be something that I might be able to shuffle around. So let me know. And I will officially open the plan in June, probably around the middle of June, and then we'll open tickets in July. So keep an eye out for those if you're interested. If you want to learn more about my cards and the work that I do here at Temple of Balance, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. Thank you very much. Okay, let's now look for the best theme card for these next 3 days. So the best theme card for the 30th and 31st of May and the 1st of June for the majority of us is this. It's an Animal Kingdom Oracle. And it's the Giraffe, card 33. And it says, look at things differently. So this is a perspective card, and we've been encouraged to consider our perspective on things. Are things going as we really think? Are they going as amazing as we think? Are they going as terribly as we think? Do we need to stop over the next couple of days, just take a few minutes to take stock of our life and our attitude and our perspective of what's happening in our life? Maybe things aren't as bad as what we think. Maybe things are worse than what we think. So it will depend on, well, you know, it might be a matter of stepping back from what's going on in our life and looking at it a bit more objectively. Be really honest about our attitude and approach and our opinion, our beliefs around what we've got going on, and see if that actually matches up with our life and what is actually playing out in our life. Sometimes, in fact, often we filter our beliefs and our attitude through our own wounds. So we can sometimes, if that's what we're doing, we can tend to see other people or see situations in our life from quite a warped perspective. So what I find personally very helpful is making some notes in my journal, because I can get everything I'm thinking about and affected by, I can get that out in my journal. And then I can go back and reread and perhaps even a day or two later or a week later, and I can reread it and just see, okay, was that true, how I felt at that time in regards to what I've got out there. Sometimes too, it's good to read it and just imagine that you're reading something else and that you're not heavily emotionally involved in what you're reading. So it can be another helpful thing. So I find writing a great way to distance myself and get just the stuff out of my head so I can see things a little more clearly. So let's look at things differently is our theme for the next few days, and see what happens. So thank you so much for connecting. Have a great couple of days and weekend. I'll be back to share with you on Sunday. I think I'll be sharing with you from the beach if I can find somewhere that has good reception. So I might see you on Sunday. Have a great couple of days, and thanks so much for watching.